So, welcome to this meditation. And these meditations are an invite to realize that everything is already perfect as it is. That whatever is unfolding in this moment is what is. So with that, let's see if we can take care to notice how your heart space is in this moment in time. Notice how the breath is. And notice what's here within the space of your awareness. Awareness itself. And whatever day you've had, however you come to this meditation, if it's been pleasant or unpleasant, however you're feeling, see if you can welcome, see if you can make space for whatever's here. And so much about this is simply being with, not about wanting to attain some kind of state of perfection, not about any state of having attained something, but just about noticing. So this is looking, this is gentle looking, gentle seeing. And we can bring the body into this, the breath into this. Sometimes it helps to place the hand on the heart center. Noticing the chest rising and falling. In these meditations, we're simply making space. Space for our inner world to unfold. A little bit like a fern, how it's curled up at first, and then bit by bit with the warmth of the sun, adequate amount of moisture and rain. The fronds unfurl, uncurls, opens up, unpacks its body, its limbs. Takes up space. And as we're here with the notion of taking up space, see if you can take up half an inch more outside of your belly. See if you can expand half an inch further. Let the belly be soft. Like the fern, unpacking, unfolding, spreading its tendrils. And if you take a very deep, very conscious, spacious breath, ask the question, who am I? Who am I when I unfold, unroll, reveal the pristine surface of my being? Who am I? The meditation is about deep looking, deep seeing, unfolding the hidden, contracted parts of ourselves and deeply looking, revealing their pristine being. If you imagine parts contracted in spaces, tight little cubby holes hidden in the shadows, see if you can show these parts the light of self now. And take a deep breath and let these parts unfurl, open themselves up fully to the light of self. Their faces in the sunlight. And sometimes here it helps to stretch the body, to yawn, to roll the shoulders back. Be some sighing, making some noises. Ah, yes. If you're able to, you can even lie down on the floor and stretch and roll. This is the innocence at play, unfolding, rolling around, exploring all the sides, all the facets of our being. Just how a baby, when they first learn to roll over onto their tummy. Ah, such sheer delight when they first learn that. Imagine letting those very small, young parts of yourselves really roll around within your being, the spacious awareness of self. And letting that movement be guided by the breath. Sweetness, warmth, light. And notice how nothing needs to happen here. Don't need to do anything other than be present with what is here. Notice how life is in this constant flow. Constant flux of inner and outer activity. And when we witness our inner realm with the compassionate gaze of self, there's just love. There's love for all of this diversity, multiplicity, these sweet little parts rolling around from the back to the belly, on the sides, exploring every surface of the body, just like the fern unfurling, uncurling, vertebra by vertebra, to receive the sun's warmth. We can invite all our parts to do the same. Let's now see if you notice any parts that are in the undergrowth, in the areas of your inner family that's gotten a little bit overgrown, the bit you've been putting off. And the more we put it off, the less willing we are to tend to this overgrown aspect. Brambles in the way, thorns, bushes. See if you can imagine to start to open up and clear space. And as you do so, you notice wildlife popping up, tiny little creatures. Wow. What looked like an area that was overgrown, overshadowed, is actually teeming with life. This is how it is in the inner realm, even though the aspects of ourselves that we don't really want to face are not within our conscious focus. They continue to be full of life, full of activity, full of mystery. Sometimes we can clear just enough space to invite the sun and the rain to help the area flourish, to help these parts grow, but not so much that we tear apart the home, the microclimate that was there for the life to unfold. So this is how self is. Self is respectful with each of our parts' microclimate. Self doesn't go in and attempt to bulldoze its way, flattening overgrown areas, bringing down trees. That's not how self works. Self gently looks and invites itself, respecting the indigenous microclimate of each of the parts. And so it asks, what would you like? What do you need for your highest growth, for you to flourish? And then the part might ask, I'd like you to clear this little area here that's grown over. So everything is by invite. And imagine that you do clear a little patch, a little clearing. And now you have the fertile soil diligently raking it, or maybe placing your hands in it. And planting seeds. And these could be the 8 qualities of self. It could be a seed of confidence. creativity, courage, compassion, clarity, curiosity, connectedness, calm. This is a gift that the self offers to the part. Imagine this beautiful plant, flower, blossoming from this seed, growing, inviting beauty, or rather revealing beauty that was already there. That is the natural inheritance of your parts. Notice if there's any other areas here that are also wanting a little bit of tending, nurturing, new seeds planting. Notice what's in your inner garden here. And notice whereabouts in the body that area is. It's somewhere close to the heart, somewhere in the belly, somewhere in the throat, the shoulders, the neck, wherever that is. See if you can attune to the part's presence. And asking each part, what do you need? What would you like to share with me? What seeds are needed for your growth? For you to realize your innate beauty, your sweet perfume, the loveliness. And can you attune that each part has its own unique kind of loveliness? One of my neighbors is growing roses and they've just come into bloom. And there's two different types of roses. And when I smell them, they have the scent of a rose, but each one has a unique scent, a very unique scent. And I feel this is how our parts are. Each one has its own unique perfume, unique loveliness. A rose is not just a rose. Each one is unique, not only in its shape, color, but also in its perfume, in its scent. So parts are not just parts, each one is a unique facet of the one, of the self. Each one reflects the self's beauty in its own unique way. And when we clear just the right amount of space for each part, the beauty shines through, the beauty that was always there. And I have this image of all my parts as a glorious flower meadow, and just being able to enjoy the unique essence of each one, really bathing in the majesty and the beauty of and the richness of the inner world. And when we stand back, zoom out just far enough, it reveals the face of the self. Imagine zooming in on each flower and then zooming out on the wildflower meadow, and wow, this is it. This is the face of the self, the beauty. By face, I don't necessarily mean the shapes of a human face. Though it could be, but it's more about knowing of this essence of the self. Sometimes we say this is the face before you were born. Curious question to ask. What was your face before you were born? A different way of asking that is, who were you before you were born? There's no right or wrong answer to this. In a way, these questions point us to the unknowable, inviting us to get comfortable with the unknowable, ineffable. That which you were before you were born, are you that now in this moment? Has anything changed to that essence? And when the body dies, will anything change with the essence that you are now? And when you tune into this essence, how do the parts appear? How do they feel? For me, when I attune to this essence, for me, there are no parts. I can't discern any specific part. Even the notion of the meadow disappears, and all I am is this very fabric of existence itself. And the only thing that seems to be is this voice coming from nowhere, from no one, from no thing. It's total bliss, total peace. In this space, even the perfume of each part disappears. And where I think my body might be is just space, ether. And this is pure awareness, self in its wave form. Pure presence, pure peace. Of course, life is not always like this. As awareness gets itself lost in activity of inner parts, outer parts, and we can sense that unique essence of each of our parts, its unique shape. And notice how awareness itself does not resist getting itself lost, caught up in whatever is unfolding in the present. It has no capacity to resist anything. It's like if you imagine a waterfall coming down from the top of the mountain, not a single drop resists flowing down. It cannot help but to follow gravity. That is its nature. It doesn't resist being flowing water. It is what it is, and it does what it does. So the pure, aware presence of self in its waveform is pure non-resistance to what is. And then the self in its particle form has this utmost respect and tender care for the microclimate of each of our parts. It doesn't carelessly trawl its way through the paths. What is it in us? What is it that does resist? What is it that does disrespect? What is that thing that contracts, knots up? And is that aspect separate from the essence of who we are or what we are? Let's start walking back. Let's start walking back to the meadow. Might start noticing the diversity in the inner world. You again notice the unique perfume of each of our parts. Start tracing your way back to this body, the weight of your body on the chair, the feet on the ground. And notice if there's any parts who are like, but I liked it when it was so peaceful. I loved when it was just so easy. Notice those parts. Maybe parts don't really want to come back to the grind of this being human. Maybe some parts absolutely loved being nothing and no one, effortless. And see if you can bring some breaths, more conscious breath into the body. Coming back, coming back, coming back. And just before we rejoin an open space to share, just see if you can reorient yourself. Thank you so much for joining.